Get ready to amplify your light and shine bright because it's about to get real. Join Spencer Jones, the Prince of Positivity, and get energized with this episode of the Jonesin Show. Let's go! Hey, Energizer. Welcome to this episode of the Jonesin Show. It is I, your host, Spencer Jones, the Prince of Positivity, and I am here bringing you an amazing woman, a woman who has this incredible light, who has had a crazy, amazing, and heartbreaking story of struggles that she's been through, the trauma she's been through. But you know what? She doesn't live in them. She doesn't stick with them and have her drag her down. She uses them as motivation, as support, as rocket fuel to launch her forward, and is sharing her love, her mission with everyone and anyone. And what's really exciting is just recently, she has joined the Jonesin team and is teaching fantastic classes inside the Energy Hub, our private community. So if you haven't yet, hop into the Energy Hub. Just go to spencersenergyhub.com, all one word. Go there, check it out, and make sure you join her classes that she is sharing and teaching with you. So without further ado, who is this amazing woman? Help me introduce and welcome the amazing Allegra Pacheco. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Spencer. It's such an honor to be here today talking with you. And I'm so excited about being part of the Energy Hub and teaching in it. I have some really amazing ideas. We're going to do great. We are doing great. So yes.
Yes. It is such an honor to have you as part of our team. The Jonesin our Energizer community is growing very quickly, which is fantastic. And we're excited to bring you on to help pour love, light, and support to everyone else and help them on their journey, right? We're talking like a lot of your sessions are all about loving yourself, how to love yourself. So whether it's through dance and movement, which is something you love to do, or I mean, all of the stuff you love to do, crystals, natural herbs and medicine, or whatever it is, body image stuff. So I'm really excited to have you there. So yay, Allegra. Awesome. Well, I know you. We've known each other now for how many years? You were actually a founding member of the Energy Hub way back when we started in 2020. So I'm so glad you're still part of it and rock and roll, now even stepping up even more. I know you, but a lot of our listeners probably don't know you a lot or at all. So why don't you share a little bit of your story about where you were and what brought you here? And if you're comfortable sharing some of the struggles that you're now using as rocket fuel, feel free.
Certainly. And I just want to thank you so much. Within the last 2 years, you've been like a huge part of my journey as far as like stepping up. And so before I go into my story, I just wanted to let you know that when I first met you, Spencer, it was in your group, the 5-Day Positivity Challenge. And then, I started joining groups that you had, the Energy Hub, and was a founding member as well. And I just got to tell you that thank you so much for the encouragement that you gave me, because when I met you, I thought that, I was really doing great. And then I was like, okay, I clearly need to step it up. So thanks for that example of consistency for me. And as you mentioned, I am currently a mixed fit and Zumba instructor. I'm a mother. I'm studying natural healing right now as well. I've owned a business for a while as well, but my story goes back to when I was 12 years old. The first trauma that I experienced was the death of my brother. So my brother got killed in a car accident when I was 12 years old. And after that trauma, my entire family kind of fell apart. And so after that, I went on to a different school and I was bullied. I got into abusive relationships. Later on, dealt with addiction issues, body image issues. And for me, I guess one of the biggest lessons that I had was I got diagnosed with breast implant illness. And that was something that kind of made me really just evaluate my attitude, I guess you could say, and sort of the way that I viewed life. And so I feel like a lot of times with those traumas piling up and piling up. If we all have traumas, or we have all had something bad that has happened to us, a loss, grief, maybe loss of a job, loss of a partner, loss of, a home, loss of a relationship, loss of a sibling, anything like that. And so for me, I kind of had all of these losses that were just, on my back. And I reached this point one day that I woke up and I clearly was just tired of feeling the way that I was. I mean, every day that I got up, it was like this heavy book of bricks on my back, because I had all this just negativity, I guess you could say. And so I think that anybody that can relate to that, whenever you're at that point, is when you really, want to change. And so I started just looking at ways that I could do things differently. How can I help myself? Because I think a lot of times we are taught that we have to wait for somebody to come and get us and pick us up and fix us, whether that's your therapist, whether that's your husband, whether that's your partner, your wife. And what I experienced is it's really up to us to help ourselves. And so the way that I helped myself was that I started doing personal development things for myself. So that included therapy, and that included taking up healthier habits. And one of the greatest things that I ever did was take a Zumba fitness class. When I took that class, I've always loved music, and I've always been a lively person, and I grew up in New Mexico. And so that's, here, a lot of the stuff that we do when we have parties and stuff is we have dances, and that's part of the thing. So, but the sad thing about that is attached to that a lot of times comes the drinking and the partying. And so for me, I found a really cool way to dance and to party and to have fun without the negativity of drinking and all of the bad stuff that comes along with it. So I really enjoyed Zumba, and I wasn't sure, like how much it actually would help me, but that's one of my passions, and that's what I do. And I feel like through movement, it has helped me clear a lot of those traumas that I was carrying. And a lot of times there's certain things that I can't express verbally, because when my traumas happen, I kind of shut down. And it's just this year that I'm finding my voice. And so I couldn't speak about it, but I could definitely dance about it. And so I encourage anybody that's carrying a really heavy heart to find some way to get that out. And for me, that was definitely through movement. I was able to process a lot of anger, a lot of sorrow. And there's still sometimes when I'm teaching in the morning that I will get some tears that come out, and I just let it be, because I know that that's part of the process. So when we're moving, we're actually moving emotions and energy and grief out of our body as well. And it feels so amazing. So that's one of the things that I started doing. And with my health condition, I also just started looking at, like, what am I consuming? What am I eating? Am I drinking enough water? Basic things that I think a lot of us might overlook because we're too busy trying to make money or focused on other things. But what I've really learned is that you have to take care of yourself first. And that means take care of your health, take care of your mind, take care of your body, because you only have one. And if like before, I used to feel, I guess, guilty because I might have missed work to work out. But now I see that working out is essential and moving my body is essential, because that's the therapy that keeps that's the glue that keeps this person together. And so, just sort of taking all of that, that I've been through and that I've experienced. And also I must say that gratitude is huge. And I love the support that you provide in the Energy Hub with that, because I think that that is key. I mean, every day we have a choice to get up and we can either see the sun or we could say, gosh, it's so cold, you know? So I choose to see the sun now. And I think it's also very important to find a community like this community. I love it because it's great when people can speak to you genuinely and like from your heart, and not, that's what I'm about. I'm not about superficial conversations, because I have felt pain and I know what it's like to not want to be here anymore. And so for me, if I can help any other woman or man discover their power and their purpose, like meaning that they are worthy because they exist, that is just something that I really am passionate about, because for a long time, I didn't see how worthy I was and just how amazing I was. And so I would love to, especially with the body image, I would like to touch on that a lot, because I feel like social media really provides these expectations with the filters and the masks and, everything. And so being a woman right now, I'm not in my younger years, but I have definitely lived those years where I went through that pressure. And I can't imagine, my daughter is in her 20s right now, and I see, the stuff that's on social media through her accounts. And I really would like to provide an alternative to that. And I really would like to show people that they can be amazing without having to do anything else to themselves, but just honoring the way that they are and who they are. But as you have taught me, just always working and striving to do more and to do better. Like one thing about you, Spencer, that I think is so cool is that you're so multifaceted. Like you try all kinds of stuff and you do all kinds of stuff. And I think that's amazing. And it's inspired me to do the same. Like I recently started doing yoga again, and I love doing boxing. I started doing HIIT workouts. And I think that when you're around those types of people like you that are doing amazing things, it just really encourages you to do the same. And I guess I really want to emphasize how important it is to have positive people around you, because it makes all the difference in your goals and where you're going. And so, yes.
It so much we could unpack and talk about it in that, and I appreciate you sharing and being so open and forthright and just vulnerable with us. So thank you for doing that and sharing your light. Going back to almost the beginning of what you said, is that you had the weight of the world on your shoulders. You felt exhausted, you felt drained, you felt tired, and that there was no way out. But yet, so many people get to that point in their life, sadly, they get to that point and then they don't know where to turn. And I'm just amazed that you turned like, well, I'm going to do personal development. I'm going to start working on improving myself that way, and taking dance classes and doing these things, experimenting to see what works. When so many people just get stuck and they're like, well, life sucks. I'm tired. I'm drained. I don't have energy to even try reading a book, listening to an audiobook, to work on myself, or go. Like, so many people just struggle with that. What piece of advice would you give a person who's in that spot right here and now? They're struggling. What piece of advice would you give them to help get them to move to something that's going to help them out?
I really would like to encourage them to look at what they're doing and see that it's not working, because if it was, they wouldn't be feeling the way that they are. So I would encourage them to be open to new ideas and new ways of changing. I know, for example, there are certain things that I have done that have been controversial in my culture, like therapy, for example. Everybody has their opinion about going to therapy, but for me, it was like super helpful. So I really just think people should be more concerned with themselves than with what others think about them. Like if you want to try therapy, try it, because obviously what you're doing isn't working. And I guess I would like to go back and hit that point that, you know, I read this book one time, and one of my favorite authors is Dan Millman, but he talks about like, if you're trying to hit a target and you always have like the tendency to hit to the right, well, this time try hitting the ball way to the left. So if you're used to doing things a certain way, like let's say you're used to getting up at 10 a.m. and like, oh, this really is awful, like get up at 6 a.m. and just switch up what you're doing, because I think that's the way that you can really find what works for you, is by trying things, just like you said.
So making an intentional shift of just trying something new can be a huge catalyst to making that change. Like, what I'm doing is not working. Okay. But now you need to take that first step. You need to expend some energy to get some back. And to do that, you need to break the habits, the routine you have, so that you could try something new. And I think that's huge. And you even mentioned surrounding yourself with people who are motivating, who are supportive, things like that could be a huge help, just because then you're motivated seeing them like, oh, like you said, even with me, like, oh, he does all these different things. Well, I'm going to try doing that. Right. And I see you doing dance. Like, I did ballroom dancing, but it's totally different. I'm like, okay, well, I should really try Zumba and do those things and experience that. So in being intentional about who you surround yourself with and start making those changes, on social media, stop following the people who are belittling you and bringing negativity. You just hear them gossiping and complaining. Start joining the 5-Day Positivity Challenge group if you haven't yet. Join other groups and follow people who are sharing positive, supportive, loving things, because that's just going to pour some extra love into you even when you're feeling drained. Have you did that when you were starting to, or when you realized you were struggling?
Oh, definitely. And I think like the last 2 years since I've joined the group and been around all of the energy that I have, it's huge, because I mean, how many people out there have this happening right now, like where they'll post something that might be what they really feel, but the people around them don't support them? I had that experience before, and it really kind of makes you feel like, okay, maybe I shouldn't post that. So for me, and that's just a small example, but it's huge to get the people around you that are cheering you on, that are clapping when you post your Zumba class, and that are clapping when you're going, for a hike. Those people that cheer you on when you're doing positive life changes, that want you to succeed, that want to honor you for who you are, that is so huge to me. And I really don't feel like, had I not been surrounded by that energy. And I just want to make it clear that it doesn't necessarily have to be like in person, because I know all of you all virtually, and I just feel the support amazing. And even though, we might see each other for an event here or there, it's just really big for me to have that support in your energetic space on social media, because it makes all the difference when you have people that want to see you win and that want the best for you. For me, that makes I have been doing this for a while, but as soon as I got involved with all that support, it's just like, wow, you mean I can really be myself and and it's going to be okay? That's just an amazing feeling. So it makes all the difference in the world.
It is such a huge difference when you get around the people who support you and love you, encourage you, celebrate when you're winning, and help you out when you're struggling, without judgment, right? Without calling you names or belittling you in any way, shape, or form. They're just there to genuinely support you. And people, if you have that in person, that's amazing. You are lucky, you are blessed. But a lot of people don't. And so, and you have to be very intentional about building that. Having them virtually, just as amazing, right? Obviously, it's not quite the same energy, but you still feel love and connected. Some of my best friends in the world, I met virtually, met through social media, and got connected. And I felt like became brothers and sisters before I even met them in person. And then when I met them in person, it was just like, fireworks went off. It was just so incredible to have that energy there in person. So I totally agree. Don't limit yourself to, it has to be in person. Those are great, but there's social media can be a beautiful thing if you use it to your advantage, in that sense of surrounding yourself with those positive people, getting in with, and there's still positive people that I'm like, they're just not my cup of tea, and that's okay, right? But there's some that are, and then we resonate and work together.
Yeah.
I'd love to shift the conversation here a little bit about body image, because this is something that a lot of people struggle with, right? A lot of people struggle with feeling worthy, feeling enough, feeling like they're pretty, especially women, right? When you look at how social media is, and movies and ads and TV, everything is pushing the stereotypical image of a woman, and even with guys to an extent. I know I made a post just a couple of days ago talking about that on my side of what it's like to be a man. Like we all struggle with body image. A lot of people struggle with body image, not all, but a lot of people struggle with it. How can we help work ourselves through that? Hey, sorry to butt in like this, but I have something really cool I want to share with you. Something that I know it can help you live your life to the max. What am I talking about? I'm talking about a roadmap that gets you to your destination. What do roadmaps do, right? Well, you have your destination. It shows you how to get there, the best way to get to that point. And you know what? That's what I have. What is this roadmap I'm talking about? I'm talking about my book, Chase Your Passion. That's right, you have a passion, you have a destination, you have goals, dreams you want to achieve, but maybe you're confused on how to get there. Maybe you're feeling stuck. Well, my book, Chase Your Passions, is that roadmap. It guides you through how to create that plan, how to create that roadmap, how to get over hurdles so you can have success. So if you're ready to ditch the excuses, if you're ready to get unstuck and ready to have success, to taste success and feel amazing, to achieve your goals and dreams, get your copy of Chase Your Passions. It's available on Amazon, or just head to my website, spencermjones.com. All right, let's catch y'all later, and let's keep chasing our passions. Let's go.
So, one of the things that I didn't touch on was that my issues with body image started at a young age because I was born what I thought was deformed, right? Like I had one breast that was way bigger than the other. And so I carried that around with me for a long time. And then I accepted like what society had to say about that. So I really just think that a great way to help yourself with body image is to just really understand that there is not a person on this earth that is imperfectly made. Like, a lot of times we're taught, like with the symmetry, that everything has to be a certain way or that it doesn't. And what I would encourage anybody that's struggling with body image issues is to forget everything that they've learned about the way that they should look, because I have been in marketing for years, and so I understand the psychology of how companies try to make you feel like you're inadequate. And the reason that they do that is so that you can buy their product. And once you understand that, it sort of gives you a different idea of really where are you getting your information from, and what is the reason that these people are, and I always encourage women to ask questions like, who says that you have to look that way? According to who and compared to what? So I think a lot of times we compare ourselves as women, like I'm 5'3", I wasn't born 6 foot. And so a lot of times I carried that around like, I can't be a model because I'm 5'3". And I just want to tell women that that's entirely like bullshit. Like you can be whatever you want to be because you exist. And so I feel like for me, what's helped me a lot is just really questioning these norms that we were taught and asking, what is the intention behind that? What is the intention behind wanting for me to feel insecure? And I feel like for me, what's really helped out is to start appreciating my body, like just appreciating it for the amazing, miraculous vessel that it is. Because when we think about it, looks aside, we have an amazing vessel that we were gifted on this earth. And so I think that a lot of times we don't take that we take that for granted and we don't honor that. So I really encourage everybody to just kind of sit back and think about that. Think about how amazing it is that I'm able to talk and you're able to hear me right now, and that I'm able to see you, and that I can get up from this chair, and that if I wanted to, I could walk outside. Those are all so many blessings that a lot of times people take for granted. And when you lose that, you really begin to realize how much of a blessing it is. So I think the main important thing would be just to forget everything that you've learned about the way that you should look.
Yes, 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 yes. Forget what you have been taught of what beauty is, at least the stereotypical beauty of what you need to look like to be happy, to be beautiful, to be worthy. And I mean, we're inundated with the left and right, with, I mean, as I said, and TV ads, movies, everything, social media, all of that stuff. But yet you could still find, especially on social media, you can find groups of people like you, like our energizers, that, hey, we love you any way, which way you are. Yes, we'd love it for you to move your body and be healthy and fuel yourselves right. But we're not saying, hey, you need to be super skinny. You don't, a six pack, or like, no. Like, if you do, cool, that works for you. We're not going to judge you. We're not going to judge you regardless, because you are beautiful just the way you are. And we have to rework that construct we have in our minds and of our belief systems of saying, well, I'm not beautiful because I don't have this, right? And I mean, there's so many things that people say, well, this is beautiful, this is gorgeous, and then you go, well, is it? Why? Where did that come from? Where did that start to be ingrained? And if they choose to believe it, cool, right? You could say that's beautiful, and I go, not so much for me, and that's okay, because you have to define what beauty is for you. That's end all be all. You need to decide what is it for you first and foremost, and not let anyone else determine that for you. But it's so hard. It's so hard because we're inundated with it. How can we block out that noise and decide for ourselves? Because I've been told this for years. How do I break that cycle? Like, as you had a great question. How can we expand on that?
I think a really good place to start would definitely be like surrounding yourself with people that encourage that mindset. Because if you're in a situation where you're being told every day how you're not beautiful, you're not going to be able to get past that. Because I have been in that situation before, in abusive relationships or around people that didn't want my best interest. So I think that who you surround yourself with really matters. And because how many of us have ever had maybe a significant other, or, at some point in our life growing up, that wasn't so nice to us about maybe the way that we look? I know that a lot of women have experienced that, and then they get into the comparing, like, maybe if I look like her, or a lot of women love to compare themselves to celebrities, which is my least favorite thing. I don't do celebrities very well, because I think that there's so many people that are on this earth that are doing amazing things that are just so much more helpful to me than what celebrities are. And so I think really just distancing yourself from any type of energy or person that doesn't support you loving yourself is huge. Because let's say you get up in the morning and you're doing your affirmations, and then you go downstairs and you're with somebody that is telling you the opposite, you're like totally not winning that battle. So I think really surrounding yourself with people that are supportive of you loving yourself, and that want to do that as well, that have that as a goal in mind as well, to increase their self-love. For me, I think just really, like I was saying, doing things differently, and, questioning a lot of why you feel the way that you feel about yourself.
I totally agree. Surrounding yourself with people who are there to support you, love you unconditionally, who are not saying all those negatives, and taking a look inward and saying, why do I believe this? Or where is this coming from? Even if it's after the fact, like, oh, I always well, you say, oh, I'm not beautiful. Well, okay, well, hold on a second. Ask myself, where's that coming from? Or I need this to look pretty. Okay, where's that coming from? And I'm talking not just to the women, but to the men too, because we all do that too, right? Men, you might not admit it out loud, but trust me, you do, because I know I do, and I know other men who have opened up and shared that we all do it, men and women. So start questioning those things, seeing where does it come from? Do I believe it? Is this true for me? Or is it not? And it's such a hard thing to do, but such a impactful thing, because it could change your life when you start to do that. And one comment I wanted to share is, you said, surrounding yourself with people who are not saying those negatives to you, or saying you're not beautiful or anything of that nature. They might not be saying those words. They might say those words, hey, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're dumb, whatever. They might say those words, yes, but they might not be saying those words verbatim or exactly like that. But that's how you're taking whatever they're saying, whatever the words are. That's how you perceive it. That's how you take it, as them saying, hey, you're ugly, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're whatever. That's just as bad. That's just as bad. If they're not saying the exact words, but yeah, that's how you're taking it, then you still need to evaluate. You need to evaluate that relationship, see how that works, see your beliefs, and start to work through those things, process and work through however that needs to be for you. And just know that regardless, you have a support system. You have me, you have Allegra, you have our Energizer family here for you during that time. I know our time is precious with you, and you're super busy, so I appreciate you giving your time and supporting and helping us. Two last questions. One is, if you can give one piece of advice, just one piece of advice to help people live their life to the max, what would that be?
It would be, do those things that scare you the most.
I love it. Right?
Yes. And like, that's just those things that are like, wow, I don't know if I can do that, those things that you're not too sure. Because what I found is that so much growth comes from really pushing yourself, like I'm in my mid 40s. And so there's certain mindsets that I have heard, like, oh, you can't do that, you're too old. And I'm like, so just kind of putting that mindset aside and saying, you know what, I'm scared to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. And I feel like so much growth and opportunity comes from those moments.
Exactly. Stepping outside your comfort zone and seeing what happens. And again, someone says to you, not just beauty, but age or anything, oh, you're too old to this, you're too young to do this, you're too whatever to do. You question those beliefs. Oh, okay. Do I believe that? Where's that coming from? And, don't have to judge them or argue with them, but it doesn't mean you have to believe it, right? Or take it. So I love that piece of advice. Do the thing that scares you the most. Do those things. Yes.
Yes.
So I know people can connect with you in the Energy Hub. Again, you could go to Spencer's Energy Hub and join there. But where else can people find you and connect with you?
So I have a Facebook account, and I also have a Facebook group that has information on my classes, as well as the natural healing and crystal stuff that I do. So definitely can find me on Facebook and on the Energy Hub as well.
Perfect. And we will have the links to her Facebook group and page in the show notes for this. So you just go to spencermjones.com/jonesinfour, click this episode, and you get all the show notes and links and all of that good stuff. And make sure you join her group. It's amazing being part of that group. I see all the incredible things she posts, and the classes she's teaching in the Energy Hub are fantastic. So go check those out as well. Allegra, this has been so amazing. Thank you so much for your time and knowledge and wisdom. I appreciate you and I love you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Spencer, and I appreciate and love you too. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thank you. And Energizers, thank you for being here, shining your light and joining us today. You are amazing. You are worthy. And you are enough just the way you are. If anyone else tells you otherwise, and you start to believe it, question why. See why that is resonating with you, and then decide if it is true or not for you. So with that, have an awesome day, and we will catch you later.